So, what's up, guys? Justin here with Elevate Podcast. Now, I like what's been happening so far. I've seen the consistent, I've seen that work flow, and I think most of the times when you in tune into doing a certain project or a certain work, your mind is so focused on it that it's important to also get criticism so that you understand what is it that you are aiming for or the level of which um you wanted to achieve for, right? The quality is important, quantity is important, obviously, because it's based on the consistency and the hard work and all this stuff. But what's important is the amount of consistency that continues to be put within that project. And I feel like Elevate Podcast has been consistent so far. What do you
Yeah,
think?
we've tried, and I think our time is more strict. We're posting 2:15 Thursday. I've seen that for the past couple of weeks, so that has been consistent, which is really good.
2:15
As long as we
Thursday.
keep that, because I noticed there was a time where we posted on Wednesday and then on Thursday,
Yeah.
and it's like we have to kind of be punctual on the same time every time.
And mostly was because we weren't like consistent. Like,
Yeah,
we didn't start it
we
off.
actually got a lot of things going on.
Yeah. I mean, even right now we still have a lot of things goes on,
Yeah,
but that should not derail us from the path that we trying to attain, right?
exactly.
We have a particular project that we want to attain. And I was listening to the first podcast and I noticed something about the first podcast that is different from the other podcast is that we put it to where it was personal in some level to where we can relate it to our personal life. Now, the last podcast that we just posted with Valentine,
Yeah.
it was on a personal level because we talked about the dreams and growing up as children, like what are the things that we were dreaming to become, right?
Yeah.
And that podcast, I feel like, is one of the most realist podcasts we have done so far.
Yeah, I listened to it as I was doing my assignment, and I kind of had to stop as I was writing things down. I was listening to his story and everything that he was saying. It was really impactful because you get to see him get into it and sort of like get serious and talk
Yeah.
about the things that he went through and all the emotions, and you get to feel that as well. And it took a toll on me. It was something different
Yeah.
for me because I'm constantly thinking I need to present something. I need to be a type of way. I need to do something that can fit into the short clip.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, just be yourself. The
Yeah.
best version of you is yourself.
And that was something that was different. It's because we see the real part of it, the vulnerability of being in the process of attaining the dream. Yet, having setback, but at the same time being in the process of obtaining it. So I feel like it was very prevalent. It
Yeah,
was
the
very, very
story,
important.
the story aspect of it, where it was just a story of my life.
Yeah.
And we don't know each other's lives as much as we think we do, because I know my friend and I interviewed McKenna, and I don't know, I didn't speak as much as I anticipated.
It was like an interview.
Yes, it was like an interview, and
You heard what Dada said, right?
yes, I kept kind of like asking her questions. And the thing is, as I was asking her, I didn't know this because she's my friend.
Yeah.
She's a really close friend of mine. And I kept thinking, okay, we're just going to vibe because I know her. And then she got into stories about her childhood, family upbringing, Christianity. And I just started thinking, I thought I knew you. I didn't know this. I
Yeah.
didn't know this. And so there was a level of me that wanted to be personal and kind of get into the detail, but I also wanted to make sure that I wasn't too personal. And so just understanding that and kind of using the right amount of each is
Or
something
finding the
that,
equilibrium.
yeah,
Yeah.
finding the equilibrium is something that it's a little bit difficult, but we're getting there.
Yeah. So the topic of today
Yeah.
I wanted to cover was passion. Now, the reason why I wanted to cover passion is because I'm gonna cover with McKenna this topic. I'm
Yeah.
thinking of bringing McKenna in, and I'm gonna talk about it. But mainly because of our reflections on Valentine podcast. Remember the conversation we had?
Yeah.
So the questions that I asked Valentine, the first question that I asked Valentine was, what is one thing that can define your life right now in this moment? And there was like a long pause, right? And I asked you that same question. What was your answer?
Honestly,
Or is it still the same answer?
is it still the same answer?
Yeah.
If I remember, it would still be the same answer.
What was your answer? It was chaos, right?
Yes, I think I said chaos.
Yeah,
My life is chaotic right now.
at this moment.
Yes, at this moment.
Why make it
What
chaos?
makes it chaotic? There's so many things going on: school, family, home, work, church, so many things, and trying to leverage and do everything all at once. It's just chaotic.
Yeah.
And chaos doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing or in a bad way. It's just there's so many things pinched against each other, and it's like, where do I start? Where do I go? And I can't stop one thing to do the other. I kind of have to put everything together. And I think we talked about last time, and I was like, I'm a kid. I need to just rest. I need my
Mhm.
break. And you told me, well, you're still young. You need to work.
Yeah.
You gotta work. You're still young.
Yep. And I feel like that's the recipe for me, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Is like when I'm in chaos, my initial desire is to usually rest. But what
Mhm.
I've programmed myself to think is that when I'm in a state of chaos, the first thing that I think about immediately is how do I continue to work hard that I can get away from this
Mhm.
chaos to bring order.
How would you define chaos?
Well, chaos
Mhm.
by definition is something that is not in the confine of order, right? It's no
Mhm.
longer in orderly fashion. So that's chaos, right? If you put yourself in a position where you don't want to be, right?
Yeah.
And or you have a set schedules, and let's say you have to meet up with someone at 12 and you don't meet them, maybe because there was a delay that happened in the morning or something like that. That's chaos
Mm.
because there is not order within your life,
Yeah.
right? And chaos is not necessarily meaning negative thing, like you say, but how do you turn chaos into something that can be positive to your life?
I
You know?
think it makes you productive. It makes you see what you want and also see what you don't want.
Hmm.
Because I have actually stayed without a job for the past 5 months, I want to say.
Yeah.
And all my life, I've been working, high school, worked, college, worked. And so I haven't been working for such a long period of time. And it's just been chaotic
Ex-
because I'm thinking, how do I do this? How do I
yeah.
do that? My plans are just not, everything is not in order. I wanted to do this, and now something else is coming. And so it's really, really chaotic. But that helps me see an aspect of my life that I wouldn't have seen otherwise if
Hmm.
everything was just straight. And it really just reminds me that, sometimes your life is not just going to be straight. It's not always going to be a straight path. And there are times where, like, you make goals and you write things down. You want
Yeah.
to do this when you're 20, when you're 25, when you're
Hmm.
all that. You write things down and it just doesn't work out. And so you look back and it's like, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
But what also can I do? What can I make out of this situation? What can I learn out of this situation? That one is like important. So I think chaos really helps you see what you want and also see what you don't want, and also it improves your character and it kind of helps you strive more. I think it reveals an aspect of yourself as well, because I've gotten to learn some things about myself.
Hmm.
And yeah.
Something about chaos is that you can internalize it to where you see it as positive thing,
Mm-hmm.
so you can go at it and try to bring order,
Try
right?
to bring order.
um remember the book of like Genesis, right? When God created heaven and earth and there was chaos, right? The first thing that happened was that the Holy Spirit was hovering over the face of the earth. So there is a certain actions that need to be taking place in order for you to bring upon order from that chaos. So let's say, for example, like you not having a job, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you not
Mm-hmm.
having a
Mm-hmm.
job bring chaos mainly because it's something that you are not used to.
Yeah.
So what would be the remedy for you uh coming out of that chaos?
Finding a job.
Finding a job.
Finding a
So
job.
see that's a thing, right? And there's
Yeah.
a two way you can look at it. The first thing is becoming despair,
Mm-hmm.
where he's like, dang, my life is so much chaotic,
Yeah.
and you just be in a state of despair and depression. And the second thing is like, well, I know the remedy for my situation, so let me just go and pursue that,
Mm.
which can bring upon order in my life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's definitely something that it's a little bit more difficult and more complex than that, just because you've always known how to do something one way, and here everything is just, it's going haywire and you don't know where things are going, you don't know what to do. and it's like your life just shifted into a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do you adjust to that? How do you maintain the motivation? How do you keep doing those same things? Because one of the problem with me, when I quit my job, when I stopped working, I said, you know what, I'm gonna start working the next week because I have to work. It keeps me productive, helps me manage time. And so when that didn't happen, I kept thinking, how am I going to get my life back in order?
Mm-hmm.
And how do I get the passion? Because I felt like I was really qualified for certain jobs based on my other work experience. And so as I was applying for jobs and doing all those things, I just felt like, am I not qualified? I know I am. Is it not? Is it like, is it something with me? Am I the problem? And then you get you start feeling sad because you feel like, okay, this is, I'm the problem. I'm the one who's just not qualified for this job or qualified for certain things. And it's just sort of like understanding that situation and kind of finding your motivation, still having that same drive
Mm-hmm.
that you would have otherwise if you still had a job, and putting the effort to find a job. That's where it's like, do you want to keep going? Do you want to keep searching? Or do you want to sit down and accept your circumstance and just live in despair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like what extent of you being in that self-reflecting
Mhm.
of your current chaos in your life, and how much of that are you gonna intake in for you to, in order for you to come to the conclusions that's gonna be productive, not only
Mhm.
productive, but also that brings upon peace in your life.
Yeah. Well.
Because the
Mhm.
opposite of chaos is peace,
Mhm.
right? How do you bring peace upon your life, right?
Yeah.
And then going to the state of like having the passion for bringing order, I
Mhm.
guess, in chaos. I don't think that you can associate passion in terms of, let's say, bringing in order if you have not identified what is it that you want to aim for, right?
Mhm.
So like you want to get a job,
Mhm.
and you already identify that you need the remedy for fixing or permanently solution for the chaos that is within my life is finding a job. Now you already identify the aim. Now that's where passions come in, where you have to look for a job. If you get rejections, you have to constantly keep searching for it, like you say, right? You have to constantly keep searching for it. So that way, you constantly put yourself in a position where you have to attain that goal,
Mhm.
right? And I feel like that's why passion play in the role of you attaining that which you are aiming for.
Yeah, I think passion is something that's unchanging in the sense that you kind of have to have it, and you kind of have to have it despite the circumstance, despite the situation. And when it goes away, then you have to find that passion back in order for it to motivate you and push you and do what it is that you need to get done.
Yeah.
Because when you don't have that, then you don't have that incentive, you don't have the motivation. How do I keep going? And that's one thing that I kind of deal with, because when that situation comes, when all hell breaks loose, what do you do? What do? You either stay in your despair, you feel sorry for yourself, you get, you just, you want people to pity you and whatnot. But the thing is, life catches up with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's either I stay in my despair, I stay sad and I stay mad, or do I move on and say, you know what, I want to do this, I'm passionate for something, and despite my circumstance and my situation, I'm going to strive for that thing.
Yeah.
So I think passion is that which that comes into place during that specific time.
During
But
that specific time
during
of
that
chaos,
specific time of chaos, but it,
yeah,
you can lose it.
you can lose passion.
You can lose it.
But the questions come is, did you really had passion if you
Did you
can lose
really
it?
have passion? It really
Like,
depends on what exactly the situation is, cuz I'm passionate about things, but the question would be, did I am I passionate about my job? Am I passionate about, and is it even really a question of passion, or is it
but
just I need something?
okay, the question is not really about are you passionate about your
Mhm.
job,
Mhm.
right? It's, are you passionate about being in a state of mind that allows you to have peace in your life,
Well, financially stable
or
gives you
financially
peace.
stable,
Yes.
give you peace. So then therefore you have to go to a higher aim, right?
Mhm.
Because I feel like passions associates itself with aim.
Yeah.
So if you are aiming to have a job, right? Your passion will associate itself with that job. Now, when you have a job, what is the passions? What is the aim after you having a job? Is it sustaining it, or what is the ultimate goal? So I feel like everything within the confined space of passions gonna go back to the aim.
Yeah, it goes back to the aim because ultimately it's what is it that you're seeking to attain. And we did this sort of like line thing in my philosophy class where we started asking, we started kind of identifying the things that men strive for, people strive for, men strive for higher education. Why do they strive for higher education? They want to be financially stable. Why do you want to be financially stable? You ask those questions. Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to do that? And so there's a higher aim to each hierarchy. Like, for example, I'm going to college right now. Why am I going to college? Sometimes I don't enjoy my classes, but I want to be financially stable. Why do I want to be financially stable? So I can support my family. Why do I want to be support my family? And the ladder just goes on and on and on because there's a higher aim. And it really touches on what you said, like the aim and the passion, they go sort of like hand in hand.
That does go in hand. The biggest thing that they ask you in job is usually find your why,
Mm-hmm.
especially if someone is in a state where they are burning out or losing passions, or they don't want to do the work anymore. And they my boss usually just say like, hey, find your why,
Find
right?
your why.
Find your why, because at the initial step of your journey you had a passion for something, and that passion for something, right, is what's gonna take you within every process that you're gonna go until you attain that goal, right?
Mm.
So I usually think of it in these terms, right? Like what you say, there's a hierarchy to the aim that you are aiming for. Now, what is the highest aim that you can possibly aim for?
What is the highest aim?
That you can possibly aim for? I know it's very generic and an abstract
Mm-hmm.
question, but I feel like I have in college I did an extensive research on
Yeah.
um the reason why many people tend to become successful, and also the reason why many people tend to say, especially motivational speaker, that work on yourself rather than working on your job.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out that when you work on yourself, you are aligning yourself to be in perfect position to accept the aim or the goal that you are aiming for,
Mm-hmm.
right? So your characters and your persona is becoming alignment to the goal that you are aiming for. So, like for example, JP usually say like aim for the highest good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you go into the New Testament, where it says seek first the kingdom of God and all of its righteousness shall follow to you. Now the aim there is not to go into this sub quest where you seek for food,
The righteousness.
you seek
Oh,
for
I
this.
they people recite that verse
Yeah,
and they usually tell people who are in need, if you're sick, seek first the kingdom of God
yeah.
and he will heal you. If you're depressed, seek first the kingdom of God. And the funny thing is because when I got saved, when I sort of like think back, when I got saved, my life was not, I wasn't depressed. I
Mhm.
wasn't, my grades were good. Everything that I cared about as a teenager was going good. But the thing is, when I got saved, that's when I went into this depression stage.
Mhm.
And so I kept thinking, okay, the Bible says seek first the kingdom and all righteous and his righteousness and everything else will follow.
Yeah.
And usually when people say everything else, they mean all the blessings, all the good things.
Mhm.
You're not going to suffer as a Christian. Like you're not going to go through that bad thing. You're not going to go through hell. You're not going to get sick. You're going to be fine. And here I was depressed and I was like, God, I know I'm saved.
What's the connection? What's the
I know
connection?
I'm saved. Yeah, but it goes back to that higher aim.
The high aim, yeah. So
Yeah.
the seek first the kingdom of God, right?
Mhm.
It's basically seeking the highest good that you can possibly aim for. Now, the thing is this: when people tend to seek for the highest aim, what usually happens is their life start to align within that aim,
Mhm.
right? So you start doing things and you start becoming a person that align yourself within that aim,
Mm.
within the highest possible good. So Jesus saying like seek first the kingdom of God, in terms saying like you aligning yourself so that everything about you is within the character of
Mhm.
seeking for that ISM. Now the hierarchy start breaking down, right?
Yeah.
Because okay, let me say I want to seek for the highest good that I can possibly aim for. How does that look like 5 years from now? Or how does that look like 10 years from now?
Mm,
Or what am I really seeking for? Or let me say I want to be financially stable,
mm.
right? Now that's a substructure of the aim below the highest aim, right? Now, how do I get to that aim? Now you cut it down.
You break it
You
down.
break it down to where, okay, I gotta find a job, or I gotta find a job that's decent. Then you break it down, okay, I need to be healthy. I gotta hit the
Mm-hmm.
gym every day, right? And then you break it down, I gotta wake up in the morning. When the alarm click, I gotta wake up. That's the first thing I do. Or I gotta pray the first thing I do. I gotta read the
Mm-hmm.
Bible. So you start building your life in a routine way that's gonna allow you to aim for that highest good. Because what usually happens is this, right? People tend to have
Mm-hmm.
dreams,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's an abstract between their dreams and
And
reality,
reality in
because they
themselves.
cannot connect the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you cannot connect the two, and because you cannot connect the two, therefore you are not able to participate within your dream. Therefore you can attain, and then you live in that state of constantly wanting to attain it, but
Yeah,
you
but you
can't,
can't.
because you're not practicing that which gonna allow you to go to that aim.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
always say like be the person you want to be.
yeah.
Be the person you want to be because we all have dreams, we all have visions, and that version of you that you envision in your dream, this version that you are right now, they're not gonna coexist.
Yeah,
That house that you want to be a millionaire. If you keep wasting your money like that, it's not
it's
gonna
not gonna
work.
it's not
And
gonna
so, if
coexist.
you want to be there, you have to be there right now because it's in your mind. But a painter, whenever they begin to paint, they already have a finished picture in their mind. But when they take their brush and they start painting, it's like they prepare themselves for the painting. You can't just paint whatever and expect whatever is in your mind to come to life.
Mm-hmm,
You have to actually paint it accordingly. And so, if you want to be rich or you want to be something, you want to strive to be something, then you have to start living that right now.
mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, you can have everything, but if you don't have yourself, then you really don't have anything. But that's kind of how I see it. And I was teaching one of the groups that I teach praise and worship, and I one of the things that I was just praying, I was like, God, help us practice the way that we would practice if we were big. Help us sing the way that we would sing if we were there, if we actually got there. Because I don't want to pray, God, I want to be there. God, I want to be there. Like it's just a fantasy. I want to actually live. I want to put in the work because God will expose you at a time, but you got to put in the effort because if God exposes you and he exalts you and your character doesn't match, you're going to fall.
Mm-hmm.
But
And your character is what sustain you
it's what
within
sustains you.
each hierarchy of aim,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so Valentine, when we're talking, he says something about, I think fame would have messed you up, would have messed
Messed
me
him
up.
up.
Yeah. Now the reason why he thought that, when we having a discussion, I think after the podcast, he was saying that is because when he was at that age or at that times in his life,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't have the value that he have now, and the value that he has now would allow him to sustain that fame,
Mm-hmm.
where he's not gonna get lost or stray away from the ultimate goal, right, or stray away from God, right? So he's gonna have that if he didn't like stray away, like he have that character. But if that fame were to come,
It would
the
consume
character
him.
that which will sustain his level of aim that he has attained would have consumed him
Mm-hmm.
to the point where he become a self gratified, egocentric, narcissistic, all these things, right? Within, because of the inability to
Yeah.
have a character that sustain
Yeah.
the confidence
Yeah.
that you
Your
need.
character. I remember when I started preaching, one of the first things that I preached on was charisma versus character. And a lot of people focus on charisma because it's the first thing you see. It's the first thing, it's very loud. You see this magnetic, attractive person, you want to see them, you want to say hi. This is your famous person. Let me go to
Hmm.
them. They got everything. This is the cool kid. But character is really what keeps those friends there. Character is really like what's impactful. Character is really what kind of keeps you in that position. And I specifically remember preaching in church where I said something along the lines that you can have charisma, but what's going to keep you there is character. And we made a distinction between the story of Samson and Joseph. And Joseph had character, whereas Samson had charisma. And so when he was exalted and he has all these victories, but his character did not match with the calling that God called him. And he died a terrible death because his character, he was living off of charisma. And you can't, when you live off of charisma, it's not going to sustain you in the long run.
Yep.
Yeah.
Character is what sustain you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So character is what sustain you in the long run, sustain you and keep you within the confine of your hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
So now passion, where does passion come from? Comes in. Now, like we discussed, I think when you have a goal to attain something, you plan that goal
Mm-hmm.
out. And when you plan that goal out, you create it to where you can achieve it to the best of your ability. Now, there are times where you don't necessarily want to do it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think that's where the passions will show. The time where you don't necessarily do it. Now, the thing is this, right? Which I was confusing when I was thinking about passion is this. Wouldn't passion associate itself with discipline?
Yeah.
Because discipline is what maintain you, right? In terms of attaining your goal. Like I go to the gym every day. It's
Mm-hmm.
not because I'm motivated to go to the gym or because I don't know. I don't even see
Would
if
you
I can.
say it's passion or you're just disciplined?
I'm just disciplined. I would
Yeah.
say it's discipline because I don't know where passion will play in the role of me going to the gym.
Yeah, I
Like,
think first
I mean,
it's,
I do have a goal. Like, I want to attain something.
yeah.
Maybe I
But
want to
you
be
wouldn't
healthy.
call it passion because it would require a strong sense of affection and just really wanting to get there.
Yeah, because I feel like if I call it passion, then I mean every area of my
Every
life
area of your
would have
lives
to
lead to
involve
that.
within that. But I will call it discipline because I make it sure that I don't miss a day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't miss a day. So that's discipline. That's where the
Yeah.
discipline is in. So I feel like there's three words, right, that is conflicting, which is gonna be like passion, motivation, and discipline.
I also would say, would add love,
Love.
like loving that thing. You can love that thing and not necessarily aim to pursue it or pursue it.
But love is love is complicated because you say love is choice,
Mm-hmm.
right? But when you go outside of love, where you act upon your choice to love someone, that choice could be negative.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's say, for example, I was listening to someone, and this story, I listened to someone, and I felt like this was kind of a bit stupid. But so he said this, right? People love their children, but they beat them up. Men love their women, and they beat them up.
They beat them up.
So does that mean the man doesn't love his wife because he's beating him up? I mean, he loved his children and he beat him up.
I would say they have a misconstrued definition of love
Yeah, it is a
because a
misconstrued.
lot
Yeah.
of that comes from culture and tradition where it's like, I am the head of the house, I'm the man of the house, I can be my wife, I can abuse them, and they kind of women are sort of seen as inferior to men and they tend to abuse them, and they call it love because, in other words, love translates to the things that I can do for you. I'm providing a roof over your table, I am feeding you, the kids are fed. And for example, let's just go back to our own African culture where it's like, if you get into an argument with your parents and you're trying to get them to understand how you feel, and maybe you might not like what they did, and the first thing they'll say, do you not eat? Do I not put food on your plate? Are you going to school? All these materialistic things, and they attribute that to sort of like love.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what a lot of men do, where they say,
But if you don't have those things,
uh-huh.
then if you don't have those things, if they don't participate in those things, they don't give you a roof to sleep, they don't
Mm-hmm.
take care of you, they don't give you food, then
It's
that's not love.
manipulation.
Yeah, but okay. So there is a sense of commitment. There's a level of commitment that they have to attribute to you, right? Like, okay, I'm committed to you in this sense of I'll provide for you, I'll take care of you, I'll do all these things. Like I'm saying to your parents, like the parents, the children, the
Mm-hmm.
parents and the children. So the parent is committed to take care of you, right? They love you. Now, if they're not committed to take care of you, do they not love you then?
I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say that they love you because love is not that.
Yeah. So love is
Based
a
on the
choice
love is a choice, but
to be
based on the
committed.
to be committed, but it's not just staying there. If you're just here and I can see your presence, that doesn't necessarily equate to you loving me, especially if your presence is such a problem, is detrimental to me, and you're beating me up every day. Like, that's not love. That's a misunderstanding and misinterpretation of what it means to love. I think some men, they just want to be control freaks. They just want to control you. And so it's like, I don't necessarily love my kids because if I loved them, I wouldn't treat them like trash. I wouldn't do this to them, but I'm going to control them. And how do I control them? I have to exert authority over them. I have to make them feel like that I'm the authority figure. And so that's what they interpret as love, but it's
Yeah.
not necessarily love. It's just you being controlling and wanting to exert authority.
Yeah, because I feel like there is a sense of okay, this is the thing that I think it
Mm-hmm.
needs to be defined as, right? Okay, so let's say love is a choice, and but what choice are you making,
You're making the
right?
choice to, I would say, when you love someone, you're giving up something and you're sacrificing something.
You're sacrificing something, yes, but what choices are you making? Because and that is what it needs to be defined. Let's say,
Mm-hmm.
for example, like the story that I just bring up. I'm not saying I agree with it, but it's a story that I heard on YouTube when someone was saying like a man love his wife, a man love his children. Uh, they beat their children so that they can, strengthen them up, right? Don't spare a child with a rod, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then also that man would exert the same sense of authority to his wife as well by beating them. And I was thinking like, well, it's a misconstrued thought of love because first of all,
Mm-hmm.
what is love, right? And if love is a choice, what perimeter are we not supposed to cross
Yeah.
within that confinement of love, right? So the greatest story is the story of Christ, right? When Christ died for us, that was a representation of a man dying for his woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the church is a woman and Christ is a representative of a man, right? So a man have to love his wife so much so that no matter how much the wife, no matter how painful or hard it is to take up the cross, he have to bear the cross.
He
He
has
have
to
to
bear the
die for her.
cross.
Yeah. So that's what I think. That's what define what give us the perimeter.
I think when you say beaten, people really think of a more violent
Oh no 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 no
state.
no no.
So
Let's
it's like you were
clarify that.
getting beat up and
No,
something was just
um
traumatic
no,
happened.
it's how you call this, so you basically discipline. I'll say discipline because let's say for
Mm.
example I steal something,
You
right?
got a whooping.
And then I got a whooping. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got a whooping. The children
Well,
gonna call your
also we
cop.
have to test the effectiveness of that.
Yeah, that's true.
I
You
don't
have to test the
uh
effectiveness of it
yes.
within the era that we are living in right now.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't agree 100% that that's the way to go and that's effective because I see that a lot of strict parents
Hmm.
always breed terrible kids. Kids that are rebellious, kids that are just out there and about and they're very secretive, very discreet. But once everything is exposed, it's like I'm gonna do whatever I want whenever I want. And it really happens with a lot of like PKs, even though I'm a pastor's kid, but I just don't think I grew up like one.
Yeah, but because there was a level of love that was shown within that discipline. Like
Mm-hmm.
my dad didn't just like, oh, I'm mad, I'm gonna beat you up. Because
Listen
if
to
let's
me.
say if I'm mad, if my dad is mad and beat me up, I'm helpless. That's
Yeah.
abuse, right? Because he's exerting his anger upon me. There was never a time when my dad would do that
Yeah.
because he loved me. I was still in that confinement of love, right? So um, yeah, when I say beaten, I feel like that was a bit violent. But no, so the word usage was bit bong, but it's discipline, right?
Mm.
Being disciplined. I was being disciplined. And now going back to love, the passion is like so Jesus loved the body, the church, which is the woman, and therefore the exerting there. He's demonstrating that love through his death.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how much a man have to love his woman, right? That's the perimeter, right? That's the perimeter. Jesus could have decided not to die for us, but he didn't. And men have to commit themselves to love their woman in that perimeter,
Mhm.
right? Of constantly forgiving them. And constantly align. I mean, I wouldn't know how to define it because I'm not in love. I don't have a family yet. So, but that's the conceptualized
Mm.
thought, right? So that's the passion. That's where the man is passionate about his woman. He's passionate about his wife. He's passionate about his family. In that sense, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, it goes back to the verse Paul says, "Husbands, love your wives as Christ loves the church." And whenever they preach about women loving your husbands, it goes on. It's really long. Women, don't do this, don't do that, do this, do that. Love your husband like this, love your husband like that, do this, obey them, respect them. The line is so long, but when it talks about the husband, it's very short, but people overlook it because they see, man, you're the head of the house. The headship goes God, Christ, man, woman, and then children. And they think, you know what? I'm the head. I'm the head. And then it goes, and then Jesus says, love your wife as Christ loves the church.
That's deep.
That is bigger
That's
than
bigger than all the
anything
list
because the love of Christ
for his church.
the love of Christ is unconditional. It's so great. It's so big. You can't even fathom. So it's huge responsibility. A lot of men don't understand just how big that is for God to say, love your wife as I, the living God, loves
The church.
the church.
It's I would say someone say it's an impossible task, but it is possible
I would say
with
it goes
God.
back to the aim. The
Yeah,
aim where as a man you want to provide your aim, like seeing my dad every day working for his family, feeding us, providing for us on the table. It's just like yes, he's getting older, but his drive just never stops.
yeah.
And one thing I noticed, I know this is yeah, I'm exposing myself a little bit. But I would take so many naps during the day,
Hmm.
so many naps. Get off from school, I'm like, I'm tired. I need a nap.
Yeah,
Get off from work, I'm tired. I need a nap. And then my dad, he gets off from work. He goes outside, he cuts the grass, he's doing emails, making phone calls, going to visit people. And I think to myself, do you never get tired? But it's like that aim. There's something that's pushing him to wake up every day, to live every moment of his life, not just sit there on TV, not just say, you know what, I need a nap. No, you don't need a break.
yeah,
You don't need a break in your life. You need to live your life to the fullest. And part of that is you have to enjoy what you're doing. You have to enjoy yourself, enjoy your own company. And that's something that I learned in college because I don't speak a lot and I don't really have that many friends. I commute. I don't have time for that. But I just had to learn to love myself, live with myself, and find comfort and peace in my own self. And he does that. And he finds that, he goes about his day, he goes to work, he comes back, and he's still working. And I'm
yeah,
thinking, how? I never see you take a nap. I never see you say, I'm tired, let me sleep. Like, I'll go to other people's houses and they're like, oh, my dad is sleeping. And that's just so foreign to me
yeah,
because my dad would never say, be quiet, I'm going to take a nap. I've never heard him say that.
yeah. There's never a time where he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a nap."
Yeah.
No, he go to sleep when he need to go to sleep when everybody already sleep,
And he
and
wakes
then he
up at
wakes
4
up
a.m.
before everybody already wake up.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I would wake up in the morning and I can hear dad. It's like he's already awake. Yeah, he's already awake. And but yeah, and mommy's the same thing. It's the same way because mom will be praying
She would be
3
praying.
a.m. in the morning, and then I'll be like, "Oh, I need to sleep. I need to sleep."
Yeah,
And but
she does room calls on days where she'll just come to all our rooms and she'll pray.
she
And
pray.
sometimes I'm thinking, should I wake up and pray with her? But then I'm like, it's kinda late. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to do that, but like, woman of God, keep praying.
You pray. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a time where she did that. She
Yeah.
came to our room and I mean, I can't
She
even
actually
recall how
she's
many
never just
times.
done it once. She
Oh,
always
I can't
does
recall
it.
how many times
Yeah.
she's done that. But the passion within that,
Mm,
it's very,
it's alive.
very alive.
Yeah.
Like it's so alive.
Mm,
Like and that passion is like so much so that it becoming a consistent
mm,
practice
yeah.
and turns into a discipline that we see every day and plays
Every
out
day.
within the course of our life.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, like, there is a perimeter within the confined space of love where, okay, you cannot beat your children to abuse them. Like, my dad never abused us.
Mm.
He never abused us in extent where he would have to exert that. But he disciplined us enough for us to know that the war is tough. There's difficult times. You need to be disciplined.
Mm.
If you do, there's a consequence to every action. But at the same time, he showed us love.
He showed you love.
And that love right there, although it's unspoken, but it's love, right? Take care of us, all this stuff. And that's where the gratitude comes from. Like, we see gratitude, but the passion is unreal.
Yeah, the passion is unreal.
Yeah.
But going back to, I know you mentioned discipline, motivation,
and passion.
and passion. Is love included?
I think love is included. I mean, the reason why we were talking about all this getting beat up and stuff was because of the love
Yeah, I
part.
mean, you're passionate about something because
Yeah.
you love it so much.
You can love something, but you know what? I'm passionate about getting money, but I don't love money.
Well, the thing with money is it gives you access, it gives you power,
Yeah,
it gives you
but
control.
once you love it, the consequences of you loving money is what?
Death.
Death, right? It's not death. It's like
It's not
you
death.
you
You
create,
lose
you lose
yourself. You
yourself,
lose yourself
which is
because with
death.
money you
Which
can
is
never
death.
get enough of it.
You can never get enough of it. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, right. So that's what I'm saying. So I don't know if it's included or not included, semi, because I'm passionate about getting money. The reason why I'm passionate about getting money is because of my aim,
I would
of my
say you
goal.
love it. I would say you don't love the money, but
I don't
you
love the
there
money.
is an aim, just like going back to there's a higher aim,
There's
and
a higher
there's
aim,
that thing that you love, and you want to get there, you want to achieve that because you want that for your family, or
yeah.
for example.
Let me say this: I love the aim,
Mm-hmm.
and money is a necessity for me to get to that aim.
Yeah,
Money becomes something that I need in order for me to get to that aim.
it's the resource.
It's the resources that will attain me there. But I don't love the money. I love the aim.
Yeah.
Me loving the aim allows me to pursue money.
Yeah, it's like building the house when
Yeah.
you get your bricks and everything together. I don't necessarily love this brick. What is it going to do for me?
Yeah.
But there's this goal that I have, and
Yeah.
I want to build a house. I need the bricks. I don't know if you build a house with bricks, but I need
bricks.
I
I
need
think the foundations have to be bricks.
yeah, I need that. I need all the materials. I need everything set in order for me to get to my house. And because I love the vision, I see the vision, I want to attain it, and I love it so much, I'm going to put every effort in those bricks. I'm going to make sure they're the right size, they're the right, everything is right. The architect has to be perfect because eventually it's the end product that's really important. That's the aim.
That's the
What is
aim.
the aim? What is the vision? What is that finished picture in your mind?
And what I'm thinking is all these things, motivation, passion, discipline, love, are all mechanism to which allows you to, I would say, factors that allows you to attain to that aim, right? Like we started off with, first you have to conceptualize the aim. You have to know what it is. You're in chaos. The world is chaos. You have to know what it is that you want to pursue. What is the vision? Once you conceptualize the vision, the highest good that you can possibly conceptualize, then these other things comes in play, like passion, all these things, discipline, hard work, motivations, all these come in play when you come to that conceptualizing goal that you already have.
Yo,
And some people cannot articulate it, but
you
it is
can't.
there.
Yeah,
It
you
is
can't
there.
articulate it. You have to know what you're aiming at. You
Yeah.
have to know the vision. Where are you going? The first thing they ask you is, what is your vision? What is your vision?
dream?
What is
They
your
ask, what is
dream?
your dream?
What do you want to do in life? What do you want to be in life? They ask you those things for a reason, because eventually that's your motivation. That's what drives you.
That's why dictate how much you're willing to give.
How much you're
How
willing to
much you're willing
give.
to sacrifice.
Because when you know what you want, you know what you don't want.
Yeah.
So I want to be financially stable. I know I don't want to be homeless. So I got to work.
Yeah.
And because I know that, then I know that I'm going to get a job. I'm going to start working. I want to, let's say I want to get a college degree because it's going to give me a job. Let's say I want to do nursing, and I need the degree to be in that program and get a job. I'm going to go to school. Them classes are going to be hard. I'll probably complain about it, but it's the process,
Yeah.
and sometimes you have to love the process because you love the goal.
Yeah. Yeah. Conceptualize yourself to the highest good. Let me ask you quick questions,
Hmm.
and maybe we can answer back and forth, and then we're gonna close this. What do you find relaxing?
What do I find relaxing?
Yeah.
My, I would say, I what I find relaxing, if I want to give a lazy answer, just chilling.
Chilling.
Just chilling, watching a movie, eating really nice
Does
food.
that correlate with passion though?
It doesn't,
Okay.
but that's what I find relaxing. But I would say being in the presence of God after you've prayed and you just kind of
Stay
sit there,
silent.
you just stay silent. It's like it's the best peace ever.
It's very soothing.
It's soothing.
Yeah.
You start seeing things and it's like, I know this ain't real, but I feel like I'm in heaven right now. Yeah.
What did you enjoy as a child?
What did I enjoy as a child? I
Yeah.
don't remember much about my
You
childhood.
don't really remember much about
I
your
have
childhood.
terrible memory. Like
I think you have
terrible.
selective memory.
I maybe, but
Yeah,
I
because you
don't.
remember some stuff that happened in Africa, but you
I
don't remember
want to
other
say
stuff.
I do, but every time I remember something and then I tell one of you guys or I tell Ben,
Oh yeah.
he'll tell me, "Oh no, that's not what happened," because I have like a burnt mark on my hand.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I kept thinking I fell asleep. And when I fell asleep, I was next to the fireplace and my hand went in. And this was always the story that I would tell when someone would ask me about my scar. And so I told Ben about it, and he said, "That's not what happened. You know what happened? I actually did that to you." I was like, "Are you serious?" And
Oh my
so
gosh,
in
that's a
my head,
funny
I
story.
thought, is it trauma? What is it? It's just, I have terrible memory.
Oh
So
my god, you thought you slept.
I really like
I
for,
was there. I was there. Mom
yeah.
was cooking, and then mom left,
Hmm.
and then Ben was right there, and he poured. I left too,
Yeah.
and then he poured hot water on your
Gosh.
hands.
No, this whole time I thought I got burnt by fire.
No, no,
That's always been the story that I've always
no,
been
bro.
telling. So I have terrible memory, but
That's an interesting answer, though.
yeah,
That was an interesting answer. What can you talk about for hours?
God.
That is true.
God, I
That
can
is a
I can
fact.
go on and on and on and on about God cuz I'm an introvert. I don't talk a lot, but if you want me to talk, just bring any topic about God
Yeah,
and I cannot stop.
yeah, that is so true.
Yeah.
That is,
I
and I
can't
remember the
stop.
time we talk about God like for
Yeah.
hours.
Usually I don't talk to strangers, but talk to me about God. Like
We're gonna talk.
we will be best friends.
If money was not an obstacle or an object within your goal, how would you fill your time? What would you be doing if you don't need money?
I would do the things that I've always dreamed of doing.
Which is,
There's a lot of things. There's a lot. There's not just one. A lot. I don't know. I can't pin it to just one thing, but definitely because money gives you access. It's not a problem. I have access to everything.
so you're gonna have access to everything. You
Yeah,
don't
I
need
have
money.
access to everything. Then I'm not gonna just sit there and like,
Be lazy.
be
Watch movie.
lazy, watch movies. Let me go to the store and buy the whole store. I'm not interested in that.
So what would you be
I'm not
doing
a
then?
brand person, but I want to do something impactful, something that changes people's lives. I want to explore different things. Um I don't know. I can't pin it to one thing, but definitely music, preaching, um
Teaching. What about teaching?
business, teaching.
Teaching.
It's so weird because I keep saying I'm an introvert, and so you don't necessarily see introverts having that quality of, being up there and having charisma a lot. But
Well,
you do see, I guess you do.
I wouldn't say that because I
Yeah.
feel like introverted is like very like multifaceted.
Motive.
Like if you say like I'm introvert, it doesn't necessarily mean you cannot speak,
Well,
right?
yeah, it's not that. It's just there are times where I tend to be antisocial.
Yeah, so you're selective
I'm
introvert.
very
Yeah,
selective. I
you're
realize
selective.
that
Yeah.
I'm crazy selective. I had a class today and I didn't talk the whole time.
Yeah, but you can talk
I
like
can talk.
when we sit down, me and you talking, you
Yeah.
talk like a
Yeah.
lot.
And I bet the
Like
people that are watching this are like, what are you talking about? You're
yeah, like
literally
you talk.
talking
Yeah.
right now.
So yeah, it's selective introvert.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
But
just awkward with people.
yeah, it's a
So
little
just
bit
joking.
awkward. It really depends on the topic.
Okay. What do you enjoy at this moment in time? What do you find fulfilling or important in life?
I love challenges. I love a good challenge. And one of the things that I'm learning a lot right now is just I'm learning a lot of things. I'm taking in a lot of informations, um, exploring new things. So that's something that I enjoy doing right now. Just exploring new things, doing things that challenge me. Definitely doing things that challenge me,
Mm-hmm.
things that make me think. I love to think. That's weird,
Yeah.
but I love to think. And I love to be, I don't want to say busy, but productive. When my mind is working, I'm the most happiest
Yeah.
because I feel like I am mostly myself when I'm productive, when I'm thinking, when I'm pondering on something. Because I know there are times where I would walk in the house. I used to do this a lot, and I would have a sermon in my head and I would just start mumbling. I would start mumbling as I wash the dishes. And then there are times where I would have like a philosophical question and I would start mumbling and going back and forth with myself and just things like that, things that challenge me. People would think, why are you talking to yourself? I'm like, I'm talking to myself. I actually enjoy my own company. I actually love talking
Nothing
to
wrong with that.
myself.
I don't think nothing
Yeah.
wrong. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So
Definitely nothing wrong with that.
exploring new things.
Exploring new things
Yeah.
in your mind.
In my
Nothing
mind.
wrong with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because
What do you find? What about the opposite? What do you find stressful?
what do I find stressful? Um, I saw the question prior to this, and honestly, I had a difficult time pinning something just to that
So
question
you
because I
escape it.
couldn't think of it. Like, if I were to say a stressful moment is in my life, definitely was my sister's wedding. I've never been that stressed in my life. But yeah, African weddings,
That was
they,
amazing. I actually like that. You know you know what's
yeah,
interesting about me, right?
yeah.
I like not to be like condescending, but
You
I
like
do
stress.
like stressful moment.
No, I don't, the thing is, I don't get stressed, right? Because
You
I
don't get
always try to find solutions. And so
yeah,
when there's a problem, weird, but I'm excited
yeah,
because I feel like there's a solution.
yeah.
If there's a problem,
There is a
I'm the
solution.
solution.
Yeah,
Find me. I got it.
yeah.
But
That's what I became,
yeah,
and that's what I was aiming to become
hmm,
when we went to our sister
but it
wedding.
was so
Oh
chaotic.
yeah, it was chaotic.
Sometimes things just spew everywhere and it's like
And you
I
trying to do
can't pick
damage
all the
control.
eggs up at once. You know,
Try to do
the
damage
eggs are
control.
delicate. I can't.
You know what? We're gonna have to like pick a podcast where we just talk about Dada's wedding. We're gonna have to ask her her permission because that wedding was
It
chaotic.
was beautiful. It
It
was
was
beautiful.
beautiful. That's what make it beautiful.
It
I
was
think the chaos
beautiful.
is what made it
Yeah,
beautiful because no one will notice
it was
the
beautiful.
chaos that was going on,
Yeah, you don't
but it was
notice. It
beautiful.
really is a picture of our lives.
Yeah,
I'm here doing a podcast.
I feel like I was I feel like I was the one marrying. Did you feel like that too?
The one marrying.
Because like I would feel like I was the one participating in the marriage, mainly because I took upon that responsibility.
I mean,
We
you
we all
are.
felt we all felt like that. I feel
I
like
did feel like I had a big
yeah,
responsibility because I was kind of monitoring the dancers, everything and whatnot. So I really felt mature. Not that I'm not. I think I'm really mature,
felt
but I
mature.
just felt like, okay,
It felt great.
I feel like I own this
It felt
house.
great. It felt
Yeah,
great.
it
I
felt
would say
like I got everything under control.
yeah,
I'm cooking, I'm cleaning. People are asking me, when are you doing this? And it's like, it's hard, but it's rewarding.
yeah. Nah,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it too.
Responsibility.
I enjoyed it. I think I enjoy responsibility a lot. We're gonna have to. That's another topic.